Monica,
Allie,
hello.
how are you?
Great. I'm
Good, good.
ecstatic to talk Traitors with you.
I'm so excited.
So, what is this, episode 9?
Yes.
Yeah. So, this was an interesting episode. I think a lot of people online think it was a little boring. What did you think?
I actually really liked this episode. I think that the opening with Eric gasping at Rob being a traitor was
Yeah.
cinematic history. I mean, the poor boy is obviously clueless. I
Clueless.
know the handwriting. It's Johnny.
Well, yeah. And he's nervous enough as a faithful. Like, do you remember at the Black Banquet when he's like, oh God, like,
Yeah,
whenever.
he's
like,
so nervous. He's so like, he reminds me a lot of Tara, actually. I think the two of them they work really well together. But
well, and this K-pop guy, I mean, he's great, but his eyesight not great because he doesn't know handwriting. His ear not great. We have 3 more senses left.
right,
Let's see how
right,
taste, smell. Like
yeah,
let's do
exactly.
something else next because
He
I'm
will be
I'm I'm worried
blinded.
about your hearing and your eyes.
He will be blinded by anything Kristen says because apparently she's like the greatest chef ever. So
Oh my
he's just
gosh.
completely blinded by her. Good luck. Good luck.
Were
Yeah.
you
So I
did
loved his reaction. It was so great. I love seeing everyone's reaction to realizing Rob is a
Yeah.
traitor because
Yeah,
he's
no,
doing a
yeah,
great job.
he was genuinely shocked.
Hmm.
I do think it says something that he was so blindly thinking that Johnny was a traitor. I think it proves that like the heat is going to potentially just remain on Johnny because so many people are like pointing towards Tara and Johnny.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Cuz I
I
mean,
like it
it
when
makes sense. Two friends lasting this long, that's kind of crazy.
it does. Absolutely. It makes great sense. And it makes sense later on down the game if, for example, on this episode, of course, obviously Eric is recruited by Rob, and
Mhm.
later on, if you go back in history, Danielle recruited Brittany at this
Right.
point. So there is some history to doing something like that. If Johnny was a traitor, this would be his opportunity.
Yes.
And if that happened, then Johnny and Tara would probably act exactly like they act in this episode.
Right.
Even though neither one of them is a traitor.
Fully agree. Fully agree. I think that this next episode coming up, and we'll talk about this more at the end, I guess, but the next episode coming up, I do think either Johnny or Tara will be in quite a bit of trouble.
Absolutely.
Even though, I do think there is something to be said about the way that they kept using Tara's name. Because I was saying that I thought at the challenge, I was saying that I thought using Tara's name specifically could potentially deter people away from thinking that she's a traitor because why would you do your own name? And then it also could deter people away from Johnny because why would a best friend? And now they've come out and admitted that they're best friends. So it's like, you guys weren't willing to write each other's name down. We saw that like whole debacle.
Mm-hmm.
People were like genuinely upset. Like, why wouldn't you just we just want money, okay?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And they're like,
um
oh, we played the game fairly.
But because there's no one else and nothing else to go off of at this point,
Mm-hmm.
um, I do think they're still going to be in trouble. But we'll see how it goes, I
I agree.
guess. One thing that was also interesting is that they do go straight to the turret
Yes.
after the Eric recruitment. I liked this because it helps, sometimes it's obvious that a recruitment occurred, but like for the murder to still happen, I thought that was good. Um
I actually thought it would have been interesting because Rob knows that Kristen has a shield.
yes.
How
Eric did not know.
interesting. Correct.
Yeah.
How interesting would it have been had they actually tried to kill Kristen? And then
Right.
Kristen could say, somebody tried to kill me last night. Everybody here knows I have a shield,
Right. Except for Eric.
except for Eric.
Okay, so that's an interesting point, but I want to add this. I genuinely felt, I do think he's changing his mind now. I genuinely felt like Rob recruited Eric for the intentions of going to the end with him. I also thought that's fine if that's what you want to do. If you want to share your money, fine by me. I do unfortunately think that that is not a great plan because Eric had, until this moment, until he was recruited and became suspicious, Nobody was looking at him. And it's just not a great idea because if you go to fire and they're choosing, okay, which one there has to be a traitor. We know that there has to be a traitor at fire, right?
Right.
If we are at fire, there is a traitor.
Right.
So if you are deciding Eric and Rob and then whoever else faithful, I think I don't know. My thought was that they may have potentially it would have been risky for Rob. However, if he recruits Johnny, Johnny is suspicious. People think it's Johnny. If he just so happens to make it to fire, they're they're sending him out.
Hmm.
They're sending him out. So I don't know. That was just my thought about the whole Eric being recruited thing. That I think it's working out now because we saw at the end Kristen little sus about
I
it. But
Yeah, I think that Eric is the sacrificial lamb. I mean, how many? We have three more that we have to get through. Three more round tables now. Two more because we've got uh, Er- uh well, two more. So this is it. So he can sacrifice Johnny at a round table, and he can sacrifice Eric at a round table if necessary. And then you know,
I agree that Eric needs to be sacrificial because they are hunting out a male traitor. I think this will
mhm.
satisfy that. The only caveat that I had is in the event that he was giving what they were giving us on the edit was that he wanted to go to the end with Eric. And that
Oh
is the
yeah.
reason why I'm like, if that was your plan, this plan doesn't make sense. But
Hmm.
it's all going to work out the way I think it should work out anyways because now we see Rob going. I just felt like it wasn't intentional. And then when he saw, he's gonna allow anybody to go after Eric. Like he
Hmm.
doesn't. I think he was willing to take to share the money with him, but I also think that he now that he's seeing, he's like, yeah, sure, it's Eric. Okay,
I think that Rob read the book of Queen Sandra before he went on Traitors, and he is of
valid.
the opinion anyone but me.
As you should, as you
As he
should.
should. All hail Queen Sandra.
And we saw Sandra in Chat BCC. Like he's a good trader.
Yeah, he's a great traitor.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to come up against him. He's a great traitor.
No, I do think he's good. I do think his nonchalant attitude is just really working. It
Mm-hmm.
like and it's naturally him and who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And like I know Brittany Haynes has come out and said something about this, but like sometimes like K-pop guy, Eric.
Uh-huh.
He's naturally he's naturally just nervous. Okay? He's naturally nervous. So no matter what position you put him in, he's going to look sus because he's a little shisty. He's a little nervous. It makes you look sketchy. Rob is just like laying on the couch like, "Oh, you think it's Eric? I think you're right." Okay.
Yeah.
Like he's all sprawled out like and he has this little smirk always, but the smirk doesn't look sus because he always has the little smirk. Like it works for him. I love that.
I think that Eric is going to end up in a little bit of trouble here because, in my opinion, Eric is very different now than he was
That's the
when he
problem.
was,
Hmm.
like, for example, going after Rod or going after, uh, who else did he go after? Colton. Like,
Yep.
I mean, he was very distinct and well spoken, and he went after them. He hasn't said much, and Kristen has
Mm-mm.
picked up on that. And
Yep.
Kristen is a sharp cookie.
So smart.
She's she's a shark killer. She's a traitor hunter. She's a whatever you call her. She's gonna get it,
The faithful
and
of all faithfuls.
she's the faithful of all faithfuls. And I'm worried for Eric.
I am worried for him too. I don't really care to see him go or stay at this point. So, like, I'm worried, but like, also, I think it would be good TV to watch him grovel at the round table. He is going to crap his pants. That is what he is going. I hope he has extra underwear. I hope he didn't pack. I hope he followed the rule of like always pack at least one additional pair because I do think he might have skid marks after the round table.
God. Okay. Well, look. This is.
Like. I'm sorry, but he like the way that he was like, I just don't know if I could be a trainer. I was like, he does not have what this takes.
He
Like,
doesn't
oh
have what
my
it takes. When
god,
when
he's so
Kristen was
bad.
saying to him, "Look, I'm a little worried about you. You weren't saying
Mhm.
anything, and when we're asking you things, you're just not really replying. What do you have to say?" Instead of him saying, "Look, the last couple of times that I spoke up, I was wrong. And I feel really badly about that. Steven is my friend, and I just kind of wanted to sit this one out, guys. Okay. Instead of saying that, yeah, I don't really
He's
know.
panicked.
I don't really know. I don't, dude.
He's
You
panicking.
can't do that with a player like Kristen.
He's
She's
panicking.
on to him. She thinks it's him. She's blood in the water. Shark killer's on the way. She's got to get him. And that's my guess is that in this next roundtable, it will be, in fact, Eric that goes.
So I wonder if maybe Rob's idea, just trying to read beyond the edit that they showed us, maybe his idea with Eric was Eric has no original thoughts. When he does, it's damning because people listen to him, even though they probably should stop by now. But they do listen to his suggestions at the round table, and it has gotten a couple people
Mm-hmm.
murdered. So we've got somebody that the faithfuls are trusting potentially at that
Mm-hmm.
time, not now, but at that time. And then also somebody that is so fragile that he can be controlled.
Absolutely.
And that might actually be, now that I think about it, what Rob was going for because this is a terrible casting decision that I hope we don't make this mistake again. I think putting two gamers together with a rando person as a traitor, I think that's
Right.
okay. I think we've now learned that putting two housewives together with a rando or with even if they put two housewives with a gamer, I just think it is putting the housewives together who play very
Mm-hmm.
petty was not a good idea because they made a really good attempt to end up tanking Rob's game. Not that I love good entertainment. I'm just saying Candace's moves, and I talked about this on the last episode, but Candace's moves weren't coming from strategy. At a certain point, they stopped coming
She
from
was just
strategy.
mad about the whole Lisa thing.
She was mad about
She just,
Lisa.
at that point, she was like, I'm going to have a vote where I vote for Rob. I'm going to do this, blah, 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 blah. Stick to the plan, Candace. I understand, but Lisa was on a sinking ship, okay? Jam said, it was Lisa.
Exactly.
It was Lisa. You got to look at Lisa and go, was it you? Are you a traitor? I don't know. Sorry.
And she made a game
Exactly.
mistake by standing up for it. And she just expects Rob to just lay on the sword too. But I'm so sorry. Why? Why should he do that? And I'm getting a little bit upset that we are not going to have a good finale based on what I'm seeing on the internet now. That Lisa has now said, "Oh, the deed was done. We did what we needed to do." They are planning on coming after Rob at the finale, which was recorded this week. And I am going to be really upset if we spend all this time on this and we don't get to analyze the game like we really should
Right.
have. And I feel like Rob is going to get the Suri treatment where at the finale episode, everyone is mad at Suri for doing what she needed to do to win the game. And she told him, look, you were faithful. I was a traitor. I didn't accept being a traitor. I was cast as a traitor. You were cast as a faithful. We really had a real alliance. Unfortunately, I can't win with you. You two can win together. I can only win by myself at that me and Ari, but I let him go too.
This
But
is
you know what I
a
mean? Like,
game.
and so the whole finale was everyone being really upset and crying about that. And I understand, like, they needed the money. So did Cerise. She's just a random nurse from wherever
That's
she is.
unfortunately, I think that's one of the reasons you either need to cast everybody as a
Oh, I see.
everybody equal.
The housewives don't need the
Yeah,
money.
right.
Right.
You need to cast them as like regular people like us,
Hmm.
or you
Agreed.
need to cast them as celebrities. Like
Hmm.
like you can't have the different things. I mean, I guarantee you that when Candace voted out Tiffany and she was crying when she did it. She said later that was the hardest vote for her because she knew
It pulled
Tiffany
at her
needed the
heart.
money.
Hmm. Hmm.
She's got a kid. She needed the money.
Speaking of which, I still don't understand how at that round table, if I was thinking it was Tiffany, once I saw her speech and her crying and her talking about how much she needs it, I genuinely got faithful vibes from that. And I don't
I,
understand how no one changed their vote in that moment. That was crazy to
that
me.
was the craziest vote, to be honest with you. We
Hmm.
won't get into that. I think that that had a lot to do with they just didn't want her. They were so convinced that the
A gamer
gamers
needed to go.
were the
Hmm.
ones who were the traitors that they were just going to get rid of them. All except Natalie. Natalie is still there. How did Natalie get past everybody?
I think Natalie's move, where as soon as they did the tapping of the
Mm-hmm.
shoulders, it was risky, but Natalie came out, guns ablazing, and she goes, "Look, I was not tapped. I am a faithful." And she said, "When you see me going after people, it's not because I'm a traitor. I'm just telling you right now, I'm going to be the hardest faithful there is. I'm going to do what I have to do." And that was risky because I thought it could have come off a different way, but I do genuinely think it actually worked with most
Okay.
people because I think that they
They
respected
believed
that,
her.
okay, when we see Natalie saying stuff, it's coming from a good place as a
Right.
faithful.
It occurred to me this evening as I was rewatching everything before we got on here.
Yeah.
Rob has absolutely taken control of the turret with he and
Mhm.
Eric, and which is fine because he's doing
Mhm.
great. But at the same time, he said, "Okay, I got this. They're going to expect us to put at least one of us in the boxes, so neither one of us are going to get in the boxes. Okay, so we're going to
Yes.
leave it to them."
Which means he has watched prior seasons, so I was
Right,
happy to know that.
absolutely. But that made me start thinking, how many times has Rob actually metaphorically gotten in the box? How many short murder lists has he been on? How many things has he had to have done to him?
Right.
I don't think he's done a lot. He's never gotten in the coffin or the box or the da 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 da.
These people are just blindly loyal to him, and I love it. It's
I,
hilarious. It's
I
hilarious.
can't believe how blind they
Oh,
all are. And that poor sweet man would never be a traitor. What are you talking about? That poor sweet man. He is the traitor.
so I do want to back up and talk about the turret for 1 second. Let's talk about the possibilities of murder and which we think. So we saw Dorinda. So we see them go back to the
Mm-hmm.
turret, and they have to make a murder happen. This is where, like we said, Rob knows that Kristen has the shield. Eric does not. Eric says, "Does anyone have a shield? Do you know?" And he says, "Yes, Kristen has it." Okay, cool. So they talk about the possibilities. They say Dorinda because it will not implicate either of them. Good idea. They say Natalie because she would be hard to banish at the round table. Good assessment. And they talk about Steven just as something
Mm-hmm.
random. I do definitely agree with the Steven thing because they are both in that what I'm calling the dagger alliance. And I do think that it just collectively, why would we get rid of our own if one of us is a traitor? So I don't mind that. Same with the Colton thing. Why would Rob ever get rid of his bestie? He wouldn't. I
I
mean, but he
mean,
did. And it
I
was great.
did.
That was a Danielle. Let me just back up for a second. That was a Danielle Reyes move because similar, and I do want to talk about the questions, but similar to how Danielle used the questions in the turret, she let Carolyn cook herself. I know there's like mixed emotions about Danielle, but this was a good move Danielle made. When they were doing their questions on this episode last year, she allowed Carolyn to make bad mistakes, and I can't remember what the questions were, but she was like, "Okay, yeah, it's a good idea," knowing
Mm-hmm.
she was outsmarting her. She knew it was going to cook her, and that she went out that
Yep.
same
I mean,
episode.
nobody had
I
any
think that
idea that
this,
Caroline was a traitor.
no
Wasn't on the
idea,
radar at all.
because
Who's the most trustworthy? I think it was. And Carolyn was like,
something
"No, it
similar,
was me.
yes.
It's me. It's me. It's me. It's me. It's me." And they were right. And then everyone's like,
She
"Ooh,
cooked
yep."
herself. Possible murders, the Steven, so just like the Colton thing, I think the Steven would make sense because it would not put any sus on Rob and actually consequently Eric as well. Who did you think moving into breakfast that they were going to select? I thought Natalie, just the way that they were talking, and they were like, we'll never be able to get rid of her.
I
I
thought
thought
it was going to be
Natalie.
Natalie. I was surprised to see Natalie in the morning. And
Yeah, me
then
too.
I was like, okay, if it's not going to be Natalie, it'll be Steven. I thought
Yes.
that, in fact, actually, Rob might want to put either Mark or Kristen out, but Kristen had the shield, so he couldn't do Kristen.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think that Mark and Kristen are all pretty sharp team. And I don't
Yes.
think that if they don't get murdered, they're not going to get banished.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm.
I think there's a very good possibility that the finals will be, in fact, Mark, Kristen, Rob,
Mhm.
and Tara.
Yes, because Mark and Kristen have had a consistent edit throughout the
Hmm.
season. I have never seen a moment in which I was like, "Oh crap, Mark's getting too much edit." Now, there have been times where I'm like, "Oh, he's finally getting a DR session 3 episodes in," but he's never gotten too
Hmm.
much. Kristen's never gotten too
Hmm.
much. I think that that's even keel. It's also something that I kind of wish that they would change about
Yeah.
their editing tactics. I would like to see more about how somebody got to
Yeah.
fire.
I agree.
Brittany Haynes, I think, is actually the outlier of that because I think she's so funny that they were wanting to show a lot of her conversations in the DRs. But like, genuinely, she is an outlier because she did not get recruited until the very last second. And she got a consistently good edit throughout the season. Whereas, like, Gabby Wendy, Ivor, they won and they got little
I
edits.
think that if
Very little
Brittany is on
edits.
a show, truly, if she's on a show and there is a DR, she's going to be the
She's
narrator
great.
of the end. As long as she is on, she's the narrator of the show
Yep.
because that's just who
I
she
love it.
naturally is.
And I
Me
love
too.
that. We did see a really funny, just to pick on Mark for a second, we saw him slam the door and his cloak. I was like, that's hilarious. That was
I loved
hilarious.
it.
Show us more
I
of
loved
this,
it.
please.
I want more of that as well, though.
It was so
So
dramatic.
dramatic and so perfectly, like, unexpectedly Mark.
From what I've heard, and I don't remember what podcast I was listening to or what, but some people were saying that I guess Mark was one of the ones that went into it just like Kristen, really trying hard to figure out the traitors, and he's like a little disappointed by the lack of edit
Hmm.
that he's received. And I know he kind of put out a message the first few episodes. He was like, "I don't know what's going on. I was there, I
Yeah.
promise. You're just not seeing
Yeah.
me."
What was the Johnny
Um,
said today at breakfast? He called himself a blanket. He said, when a
yes.
traitor has a blanket, I just didn't think I would be Candace's blanket.
Yeah, and that's interesting. So, back to breakfast when so they do make the choice to murder Dorinda. I was fine with it. I think she was actually, her friends are
Mm-hmm.
gone. I don't think she wasn't voting with
Mm-hmm.
anyone. I think it was a fine murder to make because you needed her to go.
It
It
was
was fine.
okay.
Otherwise, she was going to end up accidentally making it to fire because nobody suspected her.
Yeah.
I mean, she was going to go now or
Yeah.
later. And this was a good murder to just be like, what? It gave no one anything to go
if
off
they
of.
had
Anything to go
if
off
they
of.
had not murdered her, how many people would start looking at her and saying, "Well, wait a minute, why isn't she gone?"
I don't know. Not I don't know right away. I think maybe when they get to fire, people might go, "Well, she was here
Well,
last
see,
year. Maybe they did bring her in as a
I would
traitor."
have assumed. Well, Kate came in and then she was a traitor, and Rob came in and
Well,
he was
wait
a
a second.
traitor.
Well, with their having two housewives as traitors, I think it could go both ways. I think you could have them going, "Well, maybe there were three housewives."
Hmm.
And I think there could be some people that follow that, and then there could be some people that are like, "We've already gotten the housewives. This is just the last lingering housewife. There's no way." I don't know which way
I
I
don't
would
know.
think, but I think that both are
Yeah, I don't
possible.
know. I don't know. Either one is possible, but I think that I don't know. I don't know.
Rob DR
Mhm.
talks before they show breakfast. We see Rob's DR talking, and he explains that he chose Eric to be an equal with him. That was his intention,
Right.
according to his DR
Right.
session, which is typically where we see the truth. So I was a little shocked because I was just like, I guess. And he thinks that they can truly make it to the end and win this. I do think his song and dance has changed at the end of the episode. We talked about this. I don't know. I don't know that he was the best choice to be an equal. I don't think that that was ever going to happen. But
So, do you know
you
what a
know,
fair weather fan is?
fan,
Yeah, I'm a
yeah,
fair weather fan of the Steelers. I will cheer for them when they're winning, and
yeah,
when they're not, I don't really care. I think that Rob is a fair weather fan of Eric's. He's
sure.
absolutely on board until he's not.
He may just be a fair weather fan player on the Traitors,
Yeah,
honestly. Like, okay, well, they want to go after Lisa. Okay,
yeah.
sure, whatever. I don't
As
care.
long as it's not me.
And also, there's something to be said about the fact they put him together with those two ladies that he knew that he could never, he knew that one of them always had to go. He was never going to be able to break them apart. If it came down to it, they were never going to all three be able to win together. I think it was a fantastic decision to let Lisa go. And I just think, unfortunately, Candace couldn't get on board with
Yeah,
it. So,
yeah.
adios. You got to go. You got to go,
I think that had Candace gotten her act together and looked at this as a
they could
game
have worked together.
and realized that they really could continue going far, I think they could have
Mm-hmm.
gone far.
Fully agree with
Mhm.
you. So we go into breakfast and we see Mark, Rob, and Kristen come in together first. I love this moment because Kristen immediately is like, "We need to talk." Like they're like, "Oh my gosh, we made it to breakfast," and then Kristen goes,
So,
"Guys, we have to talk. Let's." This is this. That's her
mhm,
crew. So she doesn't know Rob's a traitor, but that's her crew.
absolutely.
So she's like, "Hey, we have a moment alone. Let's talk." And they talk about who they think is a traitor, and they decide it's got to be Johnny. At this moment, they decide it's got to be Johnny. And Mark Ballas makes a comment about how clearly recruits have been happening. They keep getting traitors, so people just keep getting recruited. And he goes, if we think it's Johnny, then we might as well implicate Tara, and vice versa. If we think it's Tara, we might as well implicate Johnny because we just got a traitor late in the game. One of them has, at this point, had to have recruited each other. He's wrong, but this is good thinking on his part,
Exactly.
I think.
Yes. That is the Danielle Reyes, Brittany Haynes, situation. Of course, you're going to recruit your bestie. And the
Yes.
two of them have acted as if they just recruited each other this
Yeah.
entire episode. They've done nothing
Yeah.
to help themselves.
I don't think revealing your relationship this late in the game was, I don't
I
know.
still don't understand how nobody knew who Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir were. Are.
Ian did. Ian was like, Lipinski? Oh, I love you. So I think that this is smart on Rob's part, or excuse me, Mark's part, even though he's wrong. I think he's thinking
Yeah.
the right way. So they have their little conversations, but then also Tara comes in and joins them at some point with Eric, just the two of them together. Immediately, Eric doesn't look happy to make it to breakfast. He looks
He looks sick
concerned.
to his
I'm like, you
stomach.
are not a good actor,
He
sir.
looked sick to his stomach to me. He was just like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to do anything. I'm just going to shove food in my mouth.
He tossed and turned all night. I already know he did not sleep, which I do know just from watching podcasts and postseason interviews. The traders stay up very, very late because they're the last ones to get to go to bed. They have to film that turret scene in the dark, and it takes forever in Scotland for it to get dark. So, and this particular night, they had a lot to film, right? They had to do the recruitment and everything. I think he was genuinely probably sleep
Probably.
deprived, but I also think he probably never went to bed. Like he was crapping his
Yeah.
pants all night. He was like his stomach was
Hmm.
bubbling. Like he did not know what to do.
And he looked it. I mean, he's wearing that big old red sweater with the white collar and the. Did you notice his collar, by the way, when he was recruited? He had like
No.
two white collars. They were
No.
weird.
I did not
They
see
were
that.
weird. He had that green sweater on, and he had khaki pants on, and he
Oh.
had like a white
Mhm.
shirt on underneath it, and his collar, he had like a snake tongue collar. It was weird. And then,
The attire on the traders is always questionable, honestly. Like it's not things that people would I think wear in outside of the traders, and I'm like, just wear your regular clothes. Like
I think that there's like there
there has to be a
there's a
stylist.
sect. Well, from what I understand, they do this all themselves. They bring all their stuff. They're told like bring something for a
Mm,
banquet, bring something for a this, bring something for a that, and they dress
mhm.
themselves. But like Rob shows up in overalls and no shirt, and then you've got
I think I'm not a Love Islander, but I've heard that that's a thing from Love Island. Apparently, that's
oh,
how he dressed on Love Island. So when he came in the overalls, people were excited because apparently he wore those overalls on Love Island. I don't know. I don't watch Love Island. I just heard chatter online.
okay,
But it had to have been cold with
yeah.
no shirt
I
on.
mean, I had never heard of Rob. I had no idea
Yeah,
who
me
he
either.
was. I just saw him and I said, wow, he's real pretty. I can't really look at him. Nobody else seemed to be able to look at him, which I think worked really well for him being a traitor because nobody could look at him.
For sure. I wrote him off. Honestly, like doing preseason thoughts and everything, I
Me
just wrote him
too.
off. I was like, he's just going to be the dumb Love Island guy. I didn't know him and I didn't see anything worth getting to know. I'm pleasantly
Me too.
surprised. I do think if they didn't get out so many gamers so quickly, I do think he would have had a bigger
I
challenge.
agree with you. I think that my heart broke.
Ian and Rob C specifically.
Yes.
Rob C would have given him a run for his
My
money.
heart broke when Ian and Rob left so early. I was just devastated. And I thought for sure that this was the end of this show. Really. I was like, what? Who the hell is going to watch this now? Um, but I too was pleasantly surprised. I fell in love all over again with Lisa Rinna and discovered Rob Roush. I had no idea who any of these housewives were. Ron Funchins is the guy from was it New Girl? The guy who
I
sings in
don't
the
know.
background of the uh yeah, New Girl with Zoe Deschanel.
Mhm.
He is in that show. He does a whole cameo there. He's just a comedian. I had no idea who any of these people were really, except for the gamers. Because that's what I do.
Right. I do think a lot of us were just like, ugh, what? Because, and to some extent we are still
No,
wrong in that the season has been bland in some ways because Rob has been able to just steamroll. And I don't love watching just as much as I don't love watching without gamers. I also don't love watching a steamroll. I'm that way with every show. I don't want to see an alliance steamroll in Survivor and
right,
Big Brother. I want to see you
right.
struggle. Um I do think Rob did get a little bit of a struggle with the housewives. I think he handled it excellently. I think it's been okay. This was a throwaway season for all of us people that are watching for the gamers. Hopefully, there's an all star season to come, and hopefully, Ian and Rob C get an opportunity to come back. I genuinely hope that if they do an all star, that those people are offered because they just went too soon. They never had an opportunity to play. I would say the same for Johnny Bananas too. He never had an
I
opportunity
think that
to play.
to be honest with you, I'd really like to see a season of gamers because that
Valid.
is a
Hmm.
show that you truly need to have physical strategic alliance, but you need to pay attention. You need to see what's happening around you, learn the interpersonal relationships with other people, not just I'm going to vote this way as a conglomerate. This is the piece I think that Survivor was missing. It is the traitor aspect of it. And I love it for one.
Two thoughts. One, I don't think that's going to, I want that to happen. I don't think that's going to happen so long as Andy Cohen
Right.
is, running some things. And unfortunately, we have Alan Cummings who doesn't even remember Danielle's name on Watch What Happens Live and says that she's the worst traitor that's ever existed. When in all actuality, look at the statistics. She is the one traitor who never won that lasted the longest. She almost made it to
Mm-hmm.
finale. And she was a traitor from day
Mm-hmm.
one. She literally lasted the most episodes of any traitor other than Suri. At this point, we don't know about Rob Roush yet. Two, I would love to see a housewife show, a housewife trader, just as much I would love to see a gamer
Mm-hmm.
trader. Like, let's do a season full of housewives, let's do a season full of
Exactly.
gamers. Like you said before, those are the same level of stakes with who needs it, who doesn't, and the reasoning why they are
Right.
there. I am really frustrated by just the show because like you said, it is a super strategic and can be a super strategic show and they're just missing an opportunity, I think. And I would also love to see them dabble in other things. Definitely an all-star season
Mm,
I think should come and I think that they should really consider who played the game well when
yes.
they and who could have and didn't have a chance to when they do the casting again. I don't think we need to see Phaedra come back. We saw her play. We saw it be really, it was great. I would like to see I'm like a second chancer.
I
I
do
want to
not
see
want any of the traitors to come back. All
yeah.
faithful, and we start all over
Yeah.
with all new traitors.
Yeah, I would agree with
Yep.
that.
I think that'd be great. No traitors.
Of course, unfortunately, that's not going to happen because they are absolutely calling Boston Rob.
You
Like,
know, I would assume you're probably right, but I think he's doing a really good job with Bob the drag queen on his podcast, and I think that
he
he
is.
would do really well with that.
I think Boston Rob's next move is to stop playing games and start doing that
I
kind of
agree.
stuff.
I think he wants to host. I think he will. In my opinion, he is the yeah.
Faceless or
Well,
whatever.
he's the next person, obviously after Jeff. Like if Jeff retires, Boston Rob should pick up the torch, and he should be the host.
Oh, and also, it could be Boston Rob and Amber. How fun would
I
that
would
be?
love that
Um,
actually.
Kind of like they do on Love is Blind. They have Nick Lachey
Hmm.
and Vanessa Lachey. Dorinda is murdered. We find out Dorinda is murdered. A lot of people are like, well, I'm shocked, but it leads me nowhere.
Exactly.
And I think that we saw maybe a few conversations about people going, well, this leaves us with
That was the
nothing.
point. So great job, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. We now start seeing a strong edit between Johnny and Tara, which led me to believe that it was going to be one of their episodes to go. I
There was
thought.
one thing at breakfast that happened before we end that.
What
That
is it?
is when Maura said to Rob that
Oh, yes.
she wrote down your name, and Rob said to
Hmm.
her, "Oh, I think she just did that to throw everybody off the scent, or
Yeah.
to give the traitor something or whatever." And he was like, "It didn't work," and she said,
Right.
"No,
Yeah.
it didn't."
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. It didn't. And we see, and we see that play out at the round table too. Never does anybody think, well, it could be wrong. He's
He's
smooth
good.
sailing. If he doesn't win, honestly, it's his game to lose at this
Absolutely.
point. Like,
They have two more
I
round
fully agree with
tables.
you.
Two more. That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it. And then of course fire. Fire is where I do think he makes it to fire. Point blank period. If you look at the description for the next episode, it says the traitors. So we know that there are two traitors in the mix when it goes into episode 11, which is our final like fire
Hmm.
episode. So we know that we go into it with two traitors. Whether or not that's Eric or somebody else that he recruits, we don't know.
I'm gonna say I think it is probably not Eric.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
Eric because I think
I
Eric
don't
is
think so
is really
either.
messing up, and I think Kristen's onto him, and I think Mark's onto him now, and I think he's gonna go.
Who will Mark recruit?
Hmm.
Who will Mark recruit? Who do you think he wants to recruit?
Rob. Who do I think Rob wants to recruit?
Oh, excuse me. Who do you think Rob
I
wants
think
to
it'll be
recruit?
Mark.
If Okay.
I think it'll be Mark because at the end it'll either be Tara or it will be Mark. It'll depend on who is left and where the cards lay. So if
Hmm.
Johnny gets at the next round table, Johnny gets voted out, then
Hmm.
it's going to leave Tara with nothing and no idea and no clue. Kristen's
Okay.
going to think Tara is a traitor. So maybe you should keep her to go into fire with. So then the next round table is going to come up. And who's going to, well, I mean, the other thing is at that point, they're going to have to kill somebody.
So you think Eric is going to be at the next
I think
round
Eric
table?
might go to the next round table.
Do you think he would potentially recruit Mora? She blindly is going to follow him either way. So that's why I say, like, he may recruit her just because he knows that she's not going to do anything and he can ride through. Or do you think that he'll just keep her a faithful because same thing, he'll,
I actually think now that you say that, I think he may kill Mora tonight.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I do. You know why?
That's messy. I don't know. If I was him, I would want Mora at fire because she's not going to vote me out. And I would want Mark and Kristen at fire too. Kristen, I would actually be nervous at this point in time, now that she has sussed out Eric so quickly. I may want to see. Did he tell? Does Eric know? Does Eric know? Does Eric know that Kristen sussed him? They should kill
Yeah.
Kristen. He should kill Kristen. I'm so sorry. I love you, Chris. I love you
Yeah,
so much,
no, you're
Kristen.
right. I mean,
Kristen
that's
should
the way
go.
to do it.
Kristen needs to
Yeah,
go. He needs to do the same thing to Eric that he did to
yeah,
Candace.
yeah.
Because Eric's not going to have the guts to write him down and do all that stuff. Eric's probably potentially going to find out the same way Candace found out the next day,
Right.
but Eric's not going to have it in him to do anything.
No.
He's going to panic.
Yep.
We saw any questioning that comes onto him, he just doesn't handle
Nope.
it
He
well.
panics. Absolutely panics. So I think, yeah, I think it's probably going to be Kristen.
That or they could kill Tara to put continued sus on Johnny, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. Actually, I would do Johnny and keep sus on Tara because Kristen is sus about Tara as well as
Oh, girl,
Eric.
I'm so confused right now. Who do we have left? Hold on. We have
Okay, we have
Tara, Johnny,
Kristen.
Maura, Mark, Kristen, Rob, Eric. Steven's gone now. That's
That's
it?
it.
Okay. So if Rob and Eric, they're going to have to vote out
Oh,
either.
Natalie. Did you say
Oh, I forgot
Natalie? We
Natalie.
have Natalie
Natalie.
too.
Okay. So available for banishment or available for murder is Natalie, Kristen, Mark, Tara, and Johnny.
Do we have no
We have no
shields? I don't
shields.
think we have shields.
So Tara and Johnny are out. They can't kill them. So it's going to either be Kristen, Mark, or Natalie.
Wait, didn't they mark 4 people for banishment in that challenge? Now that I think about it, they did. It
Yeah, it
has to
was.
be the short
It,
list. So it has to be Johnny, Tara, Natalie, Kristen. So what I said
okay,
doesn't
Johnny's.
count. Johnny, Tara, Natalie, or Kristen has to be the murder at the top of this
Yeah.
episode coming
Okay.
up. So who do we think among those people it could be? I'm guessing, this is just my thought, like I said before, they could do Johnny or Tara, and it will immediately put even more sus on the other. Kristen is coming after one of them. She's really going after Tara hard, but she's going after one of them. She's also going after Eric because whichever one they don't murder will immediately probably get banished. Like you
I
said,
think.
it'll probably be Eric
Mhm.
at the round table. But he can't guarantee Eric goes if he murders, for example,
Right.
Natalie, because one of the people that they were going after, okay, they're gone. I think it would. I think Kristen would be like, yeah, it's. I don't know.
I
I don't
think
know.
if they murder Kristen, which would probably be what I would do, it's going to make it look like Johnny and Tara are the traitors because they're acting like they're traitors. You've got Natalie who will
Mhm.
immediately say, "Oh my gosh, I just thought it was Steven. Everybody said it was Johnny, and I said it wasn't Johnny. It's Johnny."
Who was in the room though when Kristen said, "Well, if they murder me tonight, I know it was
And
Mark,
Rob. That's
Rob,
it.
and I would murder
Mm-hmm.
Kristen and plant it on
Mm-hmm.
Eric. Rob will get on
Rob
board.
will.
Tell the others they can get out Eric at the next round
Mm-hmm.
table.
Mm-hmm.
And then moving forward, you can still focus on Johnny and
Mm-hmm.
Tara. They're not going anywhere. Murder one at the next murder, and that yeah, that's what I would do.
Well, that's what I would do as well. But I think that at I think that's the way it would play. It will play out. I
Yeah,
hope.
you think
I
so?
hope that's the way it will play out. Kristen should be murdered. Johnny goes at the next round table. The next morning at breakfast, Tara will lose her ever loving mind. And like,
Or would you let? Or do you think Eric would go at the next round table?
I think,
If Kristen goes, do you think it'll be Eric or
I
Johnny
think that,
at the round
I
table?
don't know, man. It's entirely possible.
Toss up.
It's entirely possible that it could be either one, but it's going to be one of them. I think that because they keep concentrating on Johnny, I think it's going to be um, Eric.
Well, one thing I know is that Rob, in Eric's words, is soaring through the sky like an eagle.
Can you believe that he said
And
that?
it's great.
He's soaring through the
He's
sky
soaring
like
through
an
the sky
eagle.
like an eagle. And he's like, and I'm over here And I'm like, yes, we know. We can
Baby,
see
we
it.
can see you sweating all over the place. You are so nervous.
So we see the Jack in the Box competition. We saw this play out different than we've seen in the past. Typically, they come up with those ideas, who they're going to list prior
Hmm.
to the competition. They wanted to add a little element of risk. Obviously, they were playing music or something was happening because there's just no way. Like, they could not step out of the box and down those wooden
That's
stairs
making
without being
noise.
detected.
Yeah.
And the boxes were so close together. Yeah. So that's obviously fake. But this just I just if you were gonna pick one name, I would have picked Natalie's
I would
name.
have picked Tara.
Or
I would have
Kristen.
picked Tara. I thought this was a brilliant move. Okay. Let me tell you what happened. Last year, when they played this game, and Caroline blew it,
Yeah.
she just showed her hand of cards. I immediately said at that point, if I ever played this game, I would pick one name, the least assuming person that there was, and I would use that name the entire time. Every single answer. Because eventually,
But Tara's not the least assuming person though. That's why I think it's a
well,
mistake.
I think that they think that because she's very confused. Kristen says she thinks she's very confused all the time. She looks scared. She's very tiny. I think that they think that she is maybe not the brightest light bulb in the chandelier.
Did they know that Kristen was because Kristen was going after her before the competition? Did Rob and Eric know that?
Kristen said to Tara,
Because they may not have
well, no,
known.
no, no. She said to Tara, "You're always so nervous all the time." And
Hmm.
if she's always so nervous all the time, she's visibly nervous to other people. So they would think that she would probably I thought she would be the least assuming. So I immediately said that last year. So when this game
Hmm.
started and he said, I know what to do, we're gonna put the same name every time, I was like, oh yes, he did the same thing I did. And just
Yeah.
blanket. There's no way that you could figure out any footing on this. It's just the same name the whole time. But the fact that Johnny and Tara at the very end decided to not say Tara's name, what were you
Yeah.
thinking?
They just were unwilling to they're not gamers. Okay. They were unwilling. Johnny was I understand Tara not wanting to put her own name down. I guess I we could give her a pass for being
Hmm.
like, look, I can't do that to myself. Plus her one vote wouldn't matter in the sea of like the majority. But Johnny, that was sus. That put sus on him. I do disagree that I don't think this was Rob's intention. I think it was okay, this is what I think based on what I watched. I think they genuinely answered the first question with Tara.
Okay.
And then I think when they came out again, he goes, let's just do this. And then he made the decision. That's how it came off on the edit to me. That they didn't intentionally do one vote the whole time. It started off answering
I
with
think
Tara
they
to throw
answered
people
Tara
off.
the first
And
time.
then they were like, let's just keep
Yeah.
doing this.
I think they answered the first time. And then Rob was like, I got this. This is what we're going to do. We're going to
Right.
do this.
So I think it was happenstance that they chose Tara. Just feel like if I was a faithful, I would be like, okay, well, it can't possibly be Johnny either. That's just my thought because I would go, why would Johnny put it on her? Now, I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that there's also an argument to be said that like, well, he could be doing that to be conniving against his own
But
friend.
remember, none of these people know that Johnny Weir and Tara Lipinski are the best of friends and are inseparable.
And they do now. And they
Yeah,
do
they do
now.
now, but like even in this game, Mark's like, I
Yeah.
worked with people for 11
Right.
years as a dance partner, and I have these relationships.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
blindly.
like
Right. Yeah.
they don't get it. Like,
I think the heat is still on them. I just think if we had maybe smarter faithfuls that we were dealing with, I think it could have been
mhm.
risky. But that's not what we have. That's not the hand that Rob is being dealt. I think it's fine. It's going to work out fine. I just would have chosen a different
Oh,
name.
I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was, and then Tara was like, ah. oh no, oh no. And then Johnny gets all
Yeah.
upset because
She
Tara's
was so
upset. And
flustered.
like, I thought it was brilliant. And it made them both look super guilty.
So Mara, after the challenge, when we're in the car, Mara is now convinced that Johnny is a traitor. Like I said, it didn't change anything. Mara is convinced Johnny's a traitor, and she says this to, I believe, Mark and Rob are in the car, maybe. Rob definitely, and I can't remember who else. And Rob's like, yeah, he is agreeable, and I love an agreeable game player. We saw this from Will on Big Brother last season. Just be
Totally
agreeable.
agreeable.
You can last a long time by being agreeable. So I thought that was smart for him to just go along with it because it keeps his options
Mm-hmm.
open. Keeps his options open. I liked it. Um, Natalie thinks Steven, at this point, Natalie thinks
Mm-hmm.
Steven. Rob says maybe we should just do that in his DRs. He's like, maybe we should, we were gonna go after Johnny, but he's like,
I'm okay.
I'm agreeable to that
Yep.
too,
Yep.
So being willing to be flexible, I think, is a new trait that we need to put on the list of qualities for a trader
I
moving
agree.
forward. I like
I agree.
this. Oh, that's what we end up seeing. We see Steven go. Sadly, my millennial self was sorry to see Stephen Coletti from Laguna Beach slash the Hills go. It was so sad. Even though he doesn't want people to notice that, he puts One Tree Hill on there, and I'm like, people know you from
Um,
reality TV,
excuse
sir.
me, sir.
Like,
You were also in a Taylor Swift video. So let's not
yes,
forget that.
yes,
Like, let's bring the Swifties into this with Mama Kelsey. And remember, you
right,
were actually in a Taylor Swift video. White horses. I know.
right. And then the TMZ, so that brings up something else. The TMZ interview. This is like it happened this week, but it's outside of the game. The TMZ interview that they did, they caught her. They caught Mama Kelsey outside like LAX or something. Have you seen that?
No.
TMZ catches her. So we finally get our first postseason interview via TMZ with Donna
Okay.
Massey. And they're just like asking her questions. And she was kind of walking, but she was answering some. And they're never like, Survivor. And she's like, oh, Lord, no. Naked and Afraid. She's like, oh, the viewers wouldn't want to see that. She's just being funny. But it was interesting because she made a comment about they didn't know how to handle me. They didn't know they were doing. And I'm like, Donna, respectfully, you were cast in the wrong
Bingo.
position. I think you would have been a fantastic regular
Yep.
trader. And then she also made the argument of, I was just doing it because they were like, what show you're gonna go to next? She's like, look, I was just doing that. I was doing it almost, she made it sound like as a favor to friends. We know Ron Funches kind of was affiliated with her in some ways prior to this. I don't know that the Stephen Coletti thing mattered, but to her. But I'm still wondering who else was it? A cast member? Was it a producer? She must have known someone that allowed her to feel comfortable to come onto this
I
season.
have no
And I can't
idea.
figure out who it
I have
is.
no idea.
Other than Ron Funches. Ron Funches, I know, was very friendly. He very much knew her because I guess he did something with Jason
Okay.
prior to
Okay.
this.
I really don't know. I just know that she apparently watched the show. She loved the show,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
she just really wanted to do it. And so, I mean, look, if I was a TV producer of the,
Put her
yeah, my
on.
God.
Let's
And
go.
she's like, I really love this show. I'd love to come on. Put her on.
But yeah, I did know that too. But this interview made me like the way she answered it, saying they were friends. That I was, I think there might have been someone else other than
Okay.
Ron. I'm just interested to figure out who that is at some point. So I'm interested to see if Johnny and Tara. There's no way that they're going to be at this because they
Right,
just
right,
filmed the
right. They're at the
finale.
Olympics.
Interested to see if Donna is there because Donna was only there on the show for a very short time. I don't know. Now she may be contractually obligated, whereas Johnny and Tara may get a contract pass
Hmm.
because they physically can't do it.
Right.
Um, I don't know.
Well, and also, I
Interesting
think
to
that the
see.
Olympics are on Peacock, aren't they?
Yeah, they may join via
Oh, I'm
Zoom,
sure they're going to join via Zoom. I saw a TikTok.
even if it's just to do a short
Yeah,
segment. Like, hey, let's catch
I
up
saw
with
a
them.
TikTok of them wearing clothing that I would say they were probably wearing at the reunion, at
Okay.
the live reunion thing.
Was it the one where they like jumped up and then they did a transition? They did like a
They
transitional video of changing
they do
clothes or
that all
something.
the time. They
Oh,
They,
okay.
I don't know if you follow them on TikTok. They are hysterical.
Okay, I'm gonna have to follow
Oh,
them then. I saw one recently of like a transitional change in their outfits
they do them
video.
all the time. That's the thing that, you know what, it just absolutely kills me that not everybody walked in and went like, the two of you have like 30 years of
Yeah.
history of like really being in each other's lives, not just, oh yeah, we
It took a
skate.
long time. It took a long time for people to be like, "Oh, I guess they are friends, aren't they?" Like,
How many times have they
it's
gone to
crazy.
the Kentucky Derby together and critiqued everyone's
Right.
clothing and the Olympics on the red carpet? They used to do it, the thing on for E Channel on the fashion
Mhm.
show. Like I,
Mhm.
what are you doing?
Um
And shame on
so
Lisa
who do you
Renner
think
for
so
not knowing
so
that, by the way.
I'm wondering if Tara Lipinski will be the next person to go on to Dancing with the Stars then because Johnny's
Mhm.
already done it. I'm wondering if she'll be the next cuz we've seen the last two seasons somebody so we had Phaedra and now we have Dylan. Somebody will be
I
on
was
there.
I was wondering
Um
if maybe it was going to be Candace. I
Maybe.
saw her and Mark Ballas do
I
a
did.
dance in the middle
I
of
saw
Times
that.
Square.
I did think that it's just where she went out. She went out already. I don't know. But then again, Phaedra probably lasted about as long as she did. I don't know. I don't know. I would it could be more than one. You never know. With the Olympics being relevant,
Hmm.
Tara may be where they're coming off of the Olympics. Tara and somebody else. She may represent the Olympics and the
Yeah,
Traitors and I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, so we see Steven go and Kristen, thinks it's Tara no matter what. She's voting
hmm,
for her. I don't remember if she actually did vote
she
for her, but
did.
ultimately
She did.
yeah, okay. So I think maybe murdering her may be a bad choice if we still have Kristen going after her. Maybe we murder Johnny. I don't know. Either way, the two of them are not winning. I think that there's just no way, even if they go to fire, people are gonna suss them out. I've decided that. I think it's Rob's game to lose. He better win at this point. I've stuck around to watch for him and him alone at this
I'm
point.
with you.
um yeah. So, Natalie was the one that pushed for Steven. I don't know if that will come back to bite her or not. I don't think it will because I think at this point they're all just grasping for
Hmm.
whatever. But it hasn't come back to really bite everyone that's done that. We've seen it sometime like it didn't come back to bite Eric
Yeah,
yet. So
we'll see. Well, not yet, but we're getting close.
yet. I said yet. So Kristen, after the roundtable, she calls out Eric, and like we said before, she says, "And if I murdered,
Derek.
remember what I just said." So Mark, if they do murder Kristen, Mark will definitely remember that.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Interested to see what happens on episode 10.
I'm very interested to see this because you never know. You just never know. And every time they go to the round table, they say, okay, we're going to go and vote this person out.
Yeah, and then it
And
doesn't
then it's
happen.
somebody else. So,
But I am proud of them for having that strategy because we've been waiting years for them to just be like, let's decide and go with it. It's not panned out yet, but we're in the right strategic direction.
in the right direction.
The better we get as faithfuls, the better hopefully the housewives and people that they recruit to be on the show, hopefully when they watch prior seasons, they will see what worked, what didn't work, and they will navigate. Unfortunately, I think Candace and Lisa went into it with this whole mindset from the prior season of we have to
Hmm.
stick together because nobody liked it when they went against each other last season when the gamers did that, those stupid gamers. But I'm sorry, we love a good fight. We
Hmm.
love a good it's literally called the
Traitors.
Traitors. Like
Yes.
it's the premise of the show.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that I think everybody needs to remember is this is a game. You can't get your panties in a bunch. You can't be upset that this person lied to you about being a traitor. They were cast as a traitor. Or they were told you're either going to be a traitor or you're going to be gone. That's not their fault. This is a game. If you don't want to watch people do things like that, I'm sure Jeopardy is on. It's always on.
Wheel of Fortune is a nice
Wheel of
option.
Fortune, spin that wheel. It just,
Well, the most irritating thing is that some of these people are the same people that were standing Rob, mashing up videos to usher your daddy's home and him in his overalls. And then all of a sudden, he gets out Candace, who you are loving from the Housewives. Fine, we're all allowed to have our people. But we can't change our song and dance just
mhm.
because
Yeah,
he did something
yeah,
you didn't like.
right. He's
I
playing
was
a great
really
game.
angry with Donna Kelsey for getting out my two gamers. I mean, I'm gonna
I
put that
was
onto her.
furious with Donna Kelsey for that. I
But
mean, Rob and Ian, why? Why? Well,
but
great
it
moves,
doesn't
but
mean that I was
why?
like, I hope she goes home. Like I
Mm,
didn't care. If she makes it, she makes it. If she doesn't, she doesn't.
mm.
It's a game.
It's a game, and I love it.
I love it. It's a game, but I love it.
I know.
But anyways, all right. Well, it's been real. It's been fun. I'm so glad you were able to join me. We're gonna have to do this more often. I've only been doing this for the Traitors over on YouTube. I'm trying to
Yeah,
like start putting stuff on YouTube. Because TikTok is always TikToking.
yeah.
And I don't do the Facebook thing. I do a little Instagram, but I don't do the full meta thing. So I'm like,
Hmm.
I gotta have something else. So I've been inviting people to do this with me, and it's been fun.
I think that's awesome. I love talking about the shows. I'm obsessed with all the game shows like this, the reality shows. My jam is Big Brother. I'm
Yes.
obsessed with Big Brother.
Yes.
And I will be very active during Big Brother season.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love you because you follow some of the stuff. Like you make content about some of the shows that I watch and don't make content about, like the
Yeah,
TLC stuff. So,
yeah.
um
Sister Wives.
yeah, every time I've made videos about like TLC stuff, there's always people that disagree with my take. So I'm like, I guess they just don't care for my takes on
There's
TLC.
always going to be people that disagree with your takes on TLC, and they're going to like one sister wife better than they like the other sister wife, and they don't like this sister wife. And even though this sister wife, there's nothing that's been shown about this one, they hate her. And then this one said
Yeah.
this, and there's 18 kids, so you've got 18 different points of view as well.
Speaking of sister wives, Abigail and I, we recorded last one. I gotta tell you this. We recorded on the last one, and we talked about how, and I don't remember if I cut this out or left it in, but we talked about who we thought would be good on the Traitors. She was like, because we talked about how we watched Cody Brown on Special Forces, and we were just
It'd
so
be
upset
great.
that we did not get to see him cry. We were hoping to see him get yelled at and cry. Didn't
Yes,
happen. Let's see him on the Traitors. But then I brought up, there's 18 kids. We could dabble in throwing a kid in there, or we could throw them in together. But, but, my money is on an in law, Tony. I want to see Tony in there. And I don't know what it is. Tony's just giving treacherous vibes to me. And then Abigail was like, honestly, McKelty is great too. I'm like, there are so many good choices among the children. So,
you want to put Cody and Tony
yes.
in the castle together?
Why not? Why
This is
not?
the greatest idea I have ever heard in my entire life. What an absolute shit show that would be. Because Tony doesn't buy any of his malarkey. You
Tony would
know,
call him out.
he would call him out. And
But
at the round
also,
table, I mean, he'd look straight at him and be like, you're a liar. So no
and
one can trust you.
And Cody, much like Rappaport, has no business being a traitor. You need to put him in there as a faithful because he's going to provide
Absolutely.
the entertainment either way.
Absolutely. And Cody Brown is definitely looking for another show.
I'm shocked, honestly, that Robin allowed him to go somewhere by himself. Like,
I am sure that well, he said
they
that.
need this. They need a little bit of this right now. So,
Exactly. Well, she spent 67,000 or
on
$61,000
dolls.
on doll clothes in less than a year, or just over a little over a year.
Okay, wait. So,
I mean, that's not a
Tony,
joke.
now, if we can't do the Tony and Cody thing, I understand. House of Villains, Cody, next season. Put
I
him on
don't know
House
what
of
House of
Villains.
Villains is.
Oh, you'll have to deep dive. It's on Peacock. Deep dive into it. Deep dive into it after this. It's
Okay,
starting.
okay,
It's the new season is starting. I think on Wednesday. So
okay.
it's Big Brother meets the Traitors because they actually live together in the mansion. It's a mansion, not a castle, in LA or something. They live together in there. Tom Sandoval is going to be on the new season.
Oh, good.
Do you remember Big Brother? Jesse, BB11, and BB whatever else.
Jesse?
If
Jesse?
you if you don't have time to do anything else, please watch last season.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Jesse and Wes are on there together.
Jesse and
And
Wes?
and
Does Wes beat him up?
I can't I will accidentally tell you the
Wes beats him
outcome, and I
up.
don't want to do that, but I
Wes
will
beats
tell
him up.
you there's team Jess right now, there is team Jesse or team Wes. I am team Jesse, and that is a very unpopular opinion. So you keep that in mind as you watch. But
Okay.
we've had Johnny Bananas was on it. We've had some every season there's a Bad Girls Club. I don't know if you ever watched the Bad Girls Club. There's somebody from the
Mm-hmm.
Bad Girls Club. The first season, remember the girl that was like, I didn't get no sleep because of y'all. Y'all didn't get no sleep. Remember her?
Yeah.
That girl was like, it's amazing casting. It's people that
Okay.
were villains. Tyson Apostle from Survivor is going to be on the new season.
Okay.
Um, Paul Abraham, they are going to be on this current season that's about to air. It's great TV. Okay.
Is Morgan going to be on this
Morgan.
from Big Brother?
Oh, no, this filmed. We've actually been waiting for them to give
No,
this season
because
to us. This filmed
because
way
didn't
before Big Brother.
didn't she was just with Paul
She was. Mm-hmm.
recently, and I want to say somebody else from that cast. Now that you're
Yeah.
saying this,
But this aired when the Traitors was. I'm sorry, this filmed when the Traitors was filming about the same time.
yeah, but is she going to go on the next?
Maybe. But she's not really a villain.
There's some
Then again,
shit.
people are arguing that Tyson Apostle may not. I'm sorry, Johnny Fairplay was on season 1, I think, and people were like, "Is he really a true villain?" I don't know. I mean, because he did his like little grandma bit, but like other than that, people were like, "Eh." So like I get it. Then you also have guest appearances. Like I believe we've had Tori Spelling as a guest appearance. We've had who's the dance moms lady in the wheelchair? We've had
Abby.
I think Abby was
Abby.
a guest
Yeah.
appearance. Abby Lee Miller. Yeah, I think she
Yeah.
was. Anyways, fantastic TV. You're going to have to go watch it.
Okay, I'll go watch. I'll go
Anyways,
watch.
thank you so much for filming with me. It was so
Thank you.
fun.
Thank
And
you
I will
so much
catch
for
you next time.
offering. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.